So hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 20 and in this video we continue with our if statement and our riddle, of course, because our riddle is almost finished. Actually it is finished, I think. You can try to solve it, but our if statement is not finished, so we will continue there. So this riddle is really interesting. And what I'm going to introduce you now is that the if statement can here have one more thing. And what is this one more thing? The one more thing is, let's start with our player number one. We can, if we want, write one more checker here. So in this case, we used this condition, I call this checking point or checker. This is called the condition, our checker, and we can write here one more checker. And how does this work, right? How can we write here one more condition? And there we introduce another little bit extension. Actually, this extension must come before this one. That's very important, so we can't write this extension after this one. So what we write here is, instead of else, we write else if, and then we write here our checker, second checker. But this one checks this one. Then I go here down and write this again. It starts like a if here. You see, it starts like a checker here, only this one has a else in front of it. And the same goes here, so it's not much more. And here we write again a checker. And I write again number for player number 2 is, for example, let's say not equal. And then for example, that would be the case what we already have, but here we specify exactly that it's not equal. And then we can write here with riddle number solution, perfect. And then you see, it's almost like the else statement, the else block, what we had before, but I just write and checker here after that. Right? So when we compare this again, this is the other player. Let me bring this up here a little bit. When we compare here, we wrote else and then no checker. And then we said print this one out. And here, in this case, we wrote after the else again a checker. Right? So if condition, a checker, the whole time when I say a checker, just think about a condition. But the condition, yeah, let's learn condition from now on. This checker is just for beginners, easier to understand. And instead, when I say all time condition. So, well, we have here a condition, right? And here we have no condition. And that's it actually. And one more thing, after this condition, we can add again our else. And this one is our last part, and we need again a body. We start with a curly braces. We open this up and we have our body here. So what is the difference actually between this one and this one here? When we watch this one here, the difference here is this one here checks first the condition. Right, our first checker, it checks the condition, and if the checker says yes or no, if it says yes, it will go to the body. If it says no, here it will do nothing, only jumps to the else and read what it says, else do this here, which means this else can be anything, right? So it must be not, for example, a special case. And when we check, when we compare this with the top one here, I say checker, check this one. Okay, you check this one, cool. And then if you say yes, I will do this one. Okay, if you say no, I will go to the next checker. That's very important. Here it goes to the next checker because he goes to the else, but this else has a checker. I go to the next checker, I check this one, and if this says yes, then it will do this one, and if this also says no, then I will go to the last and will print out this one. So this is, yeah, this is some, I think it was not very good explained, but you get the idea, I think. The thing is here, it starts all time to check, and it's asking all time yes, no, yes, then I will do this. No, then I go to the next. And if there is next, then I check this too. Then here is a checker. Okay, I check this too. Yes or no? Yes, then I do this one. No, then I go to the next. And then it says else. Here I check nothing. I will do this definitely. And here one more step. Let's say you write here no else statement. Control X, which is also possible actually. Then what happens now? Then let's start again. It goes here to our checker. If the condition checks and say yes or no, let's say no, then it will skip this because I said no. Then it goes to the next point, and then it checks again yes or no, and then it goes to the next point. It say, for example, let's say again no, then it will skip this one, but there follows nothing. Okay, then I do nothing. So, but if I have here again back my else, that's very important. If both say no, no, here is no checker, which means this else will definitely execute if the other one say no. And that's very important to note. So, and then later you have to think about it if you want this. If you don't want, you have to remove this. And the difference here is with this second checker, you can specify, you make only the second checker to specify more accurately what you want, right? In this case, I check this one is equal. Yes, that's enough for me. I don't have to check this one because if they are equal, I write you are right. So I don't have to check here again, actually, if they are not equal and then say you are wrong. With other words, this one for our riddle is actually too much work. But I keep it right now here just for the purpose that we need. But actually should not write this one. This way you just write here else, or let's make this one. So nah, we keep this. So let's see what happens here when I make it this way. This will work and this else statement will not even be executed. Let me show you what I mean with this. Compare. That's why it's ridiculous here to write it this way, but we must make mistakes to learn it even better. And I write here, this will never never print out. Right, this will never print it out. So let's see why. Let's start this. Let's go here. Coder, Superman. And I write my number. Okay, I guess this one. I guess that one. And Coder, you are wrong. Superman, you are wrong. But where is the last one? Why is this else one never come here? And the reason for this one is I wrote a condition, a checker, who checks if this number is with this number equal, then it will say you are right. And then I use the second checker and say, if this one is not equal with this one, I will use that one. And this checker will, one of them will happen for sure, right? Because if a number is not equal, then it's probably not equal. So one of them will happen. So this else statement will never come. With other words, this one is absolute not needed. And bad, it's not bad coding, but if you don't need something, you normally don't write it, right? That's the point. But we learned that we need, and very important, we don't need a else statement for that's very important too. Let me recap this a little bit more. So in general, how we write an if statement. Let's start. So first of all, you can start if, and our condition, that was the start point. Let me go here down without our riddle, and then we continue a little bit with our riddle. You write here the if, here the round brackets, and then you write the curly braces. This is the start point. That's perfect. That will work. Of course, this one is a little bit complaining because I have wrote nothing here, but this is our first step. The second step is if again with curly braces, then we write again our condition. Again, our curly braces starts, but we write this time else as well, right? This is our second one. Let me so let's write here comment here too first, so that we can just see where it starts. Second, it's not very good comments, but okay. And our third form is if if I'll write what I write. If, and then I write again a condition. It starts all time with the first block. You can see it starts all time with the first block. And then I write instead a second checker. I have to write else, and then if, and then I write my second checker. And then I can go on. And after this one, let's write here again a comment. After this one, I can write else, and then only if I need. So, and now we write the variations. So these are the mains. These are the main things. Very important. You start with if. If this is enough, the first check it's enough, then I use this. You say then you use this one if the first check is not enough. For example, you check here, and if this one says no, print this one. The third one says check the first one. If this check fails, check the second one. If this also fails, print anything. But now let's write a little bit more variations, because this one is very important too. You can write, of course, if, oh, I write this all time wrong, because if, and then our check, it starts again here with this one, curly braces. And then you can write, for example, again, checker, else, if. A variation is just without, this one works not because we need this one, but I think it will work. You can just write here else if this one here. Let's go on. It shows only errors. It was a little bit irritating, but let's continue. Or you can write one more thing. One more variation is if. And let me show you this one more time. You see, the nice thing is it starts all time with this if block here. This is the easiest way to think. It starts most time with this if block here. And then the one thing which I not showed you is this one, else if, but it's very easy because this one can, this condition 2, because we have here one condition. Here we have a second condition, but of course you can go on with these conditions. That's very important, because let's say you have more conditions, then you write again a else if, and then again a else if. Depends on how many conditions you want check. Also, condition means here checkers, something like that. Else if, and so on. Of course, use the online documentation again, a C++ book to check this a little bit more in detail, because there are much more variations, and I write here just some examples. I will only write more examples which we really need to use, right? So in programs, because our goal is writing programs, and just give you a short overview. So, and these are the variations more or less. The important thing is learn first this one, and then learn the second is just the else, and then else if means check more, and if you want later, check even more. And I forget, of course, something while I'm talking. You have to write the conditions here. Oh my god. Nah. Perfect. Okay, here also. Of course. This is the condition where you write the conditions and so on. All right. So let's get back to our let's see. I think I delayed this one. I think you should train this, but let's go back, and all that what we don't need we delayed. So in our example, I wrote now I get the player's number, I compared it with the riddle number, and then if the checker here, it starts with a checker, if it says yes, it will jump now here. It says no, but this time I use again a checker. If it's not equal, it will jump here. But this one I said you is actually not effective, because you can use it, it's not wrong, but normally you would say if this is not the case, then it's probably wrong, right? Then you could just write here else, and I don't need the checker too, and write just this one out. This is here the normal solution. And when we compare this one more time and start, this one is the thing what we need. So I write here player number 1, enter your number, enter your name, coder Superman, and this time I will write the number, right number 11. There says L11, and you can see coder, you are right, congratulations. Superman, you are right, congratulations. Of course you can make here a little bit style, a little bit spaces again, which I did here, and so, and with that we learned a little bit. Let's delete all that what we don't need. Let's go here, and let's say here we can describe a little bit more. For example, if you want to write here comment output for player number 1, and this comment makes more sense than before. Output for player number 2. Yes, that's okay. And so we learn a little to use make comments, which makes more sense, because you see this comment makes a little bit more sense because the code starts to get bigger. Of course, if you are used you would not write this comment probably too, because you can see it instantly that this one is an output. But at start, learn writing comments which make sense, and here the code starts to get a little bit bigger, and instead of reading all through and analyzing what this if statement does here, you just read here comment and see output for player number 1. And when you read a comment like this, then you know this if statement will just compare, because if statements are checkers, will check and then print something out. That said, I stop with this one, and very important, learn this if statements, and our riddle is finished, and we will continue with new things, I think, a new program. But here an exercise perhaps at the last. Right now, this program, what we have here, in a application with a exe file, right? That's very important. So we turned this whole thing here a little bit better style than me, because I have here not a very good style. This whole thing, what I mean with style is just line numbers, and here perhaps space at start, and so perhaps you can bring all the things here in the middle screen. So when you click an application, and then it solved this one, right? And then the right output, perhaps this one styling a little bit too. So style, make an application, and yeah, write this as an exe file so that we can activate this again here on desktop. When I click an application, this riddle is working. This as an exercise is good, because then you are going to repeat all what you have, then you repeat how to write a program, and the only thing what you should change is here the riddle solution, because this one is definitely not a solution. I hope you know the solution. It is 9, right? The riddle solution is actually 9. And when you see what becomes smaller when you turn it upside down, it is 9. That's set. I stop here. So this is the last thing. Write an exe file, write all again from start to finish, and try to print out this riddle, and perhaps let anyone play this. For example, the first player should give his name, and then you play with the other player and you write the play, and then he should guess the number and see what's the outcome, because this is a program. This is a real program which works. It's a very small program, but it is a program, right? And with that said, I stop here. See you in the next bite.